Hello everyone, welcome to my channel JRA Priya. Here I'll be discussing 14 evergreen writers that you need to prepare of post-colonial literature, and you can complete it in 1 week and secure your 100% marks. Now before we dive into the main video, let's understand what is post-colonialism. Post means after, right? And aftermath of colonialism is known as post-colonialism. Now you know that the parts of Asia, Africa and Australia are known as the third world, right? And this world had experienced a great knowledge of post-colonialism, and that were being discussed in the writings of the great writers, and that are known as post-colonial literature. Now as you know that we cannot understand post-colonial literature before we understand two terms. One is the colonizers, second one is the colonized. Now who are the colonizers? The colonizers are the countries like France, England, Netherlands, Portugal and also the Spain. Those were controlling over all these countries of the third world, known as colonizers. And who are the colonized? Those countries like America, Africa, Australia, Canada, these are the places where the colonizers came and they controlled over all the people, are known as the colonized countries. Okay, so now just for your convenience you can make a chart of all these parts. I have made separated charts. One is the African American writers, or you can call Afro American writers, then only the African writers, then the British diasporic writer, then Caribbean writer, and finally the Australian writer, and you can also add the Canadian writers here. Now let's understand what is Afro-American literature. Now the Afro-American writers are those writers who were both from Africa and America, and they revolted against the Britishers and the other colonizers, okay, during 1970 to 1980. And the great writers of this are like Toni Morrison, then Alice Walker, Richard Reed, Ralph Ellison, Langston Hughes. I am again telling you that I'm just talking about those evergreen writers that you cannot just skip. Otherwise, there are many writers, okay, but we cannot, reveal all the things in one video. So let's just talk about the evergreen, writers that you cannot skip. Now, Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison is, the first novelist of post-colonial literature who got Nobel Prize in 1993, and she is famous for her work Beloved, that is woven with the magic realism genre. Though she has written many other works like Sula, then Bluest Eyes, Mercy, Paradise, Beloved. So these are all are her famous works, and you can just have the summary, the themes, and please do remember the important characters of this works that are really important, and the chronology of her work. Okay, now the second poet that you cannot skip is Langston Hughes. Either interview will ask you questions as match the following, or the chronological of his works. So please do remember all the titles of his works and also the genres. Now Langston Hughes is the founder of Judge Music, and also he is the leading figure of Harlem Renaissance, and his works are like I Too Sing America, Let America Be America Again. These are some famous work, and he also wrote one play collaborated with Zora Neale Hurston, and I want you to answer this in comment, okay, if you can. Now the second part, and that is the African writer. You must have heard all the African writers, right? As our non-fiction writers and fiction writers. So whenever we utter the name of African writers, we always think about one writer, that is Chinua Achebe. Yes, I'll tell you about these writers also, like Chinua Achebe, then Nadine Gordimer, then we have Ngui wa Thiong'o, Ben Okri, Bessie Head. These are all famous writers, and you need to complete all this, okay, with their works as well as the themes. Now Chinua Achebe's trilogy that is very important is known as Things Fall Apart, The Arrow of God, and Nowhere Act Is. Please do remember the chronology of this trilogy, and also he has written one criticism of Joseph Conrad's The Heart of Darkness. Please do remember that also. Now he is the Things Fall Apart is a book where the robust figure Okonoko, who is a hero of this book, and who how he has faced the fatal end, and he committed suicide when the Britishers appeared in this land, is depicted in this novel. Now the second writer is Nugui Wathingo. I think you cannot just skip this writer, and please do remember all the works titles and also the chronology of the work. Okay, now let's understand the third part, that is the British diasporic. Now who are the British diasporic, right? Those writers who were living in Britain from the various part of the country they are originated. For example, we have a great writer like Salman Rushdie, who is also a British diasporic writer. And later on we will also see Amitabh Ghosh, who also has written the genre with diasporic elements. British diasporic writers have written about the homesickness that they felt, and they talked about their home cultures and home. Now the major writers of this part are Salman Rushdie, then we have Keiji Ishiguro, then we have Ian Martel, and also we have a great writer like V.S. Naipaul. Now Salman Rushdie, who does not know him? Salman Rushdie is famous for his genre like magic realism, and his famous works are like The Midnight Children, The Satanic Verses, The Ground Beneath Our Feet. These are all his famous works, and please do remember all the chronology of his works and also the years, because publication years also can be asked from this writer. Now the second dominant writer from this world of post-colonial literature is V.S. Naipaul. Now please do remember the tiny facts about V.S. Naipaul, because I can remember that when I was sitting for this exam, one question was asked about the Nobel, when which year he got his Nobel, and the year was 2000, but I made it somewhere incorrect. I did, I think, it as 1998, though it was wrong, and I corrected myself at my home, and there was no time to correct it. Now please do not do this mistake. Remember all his tiny facts about his life, and also his journey, and also his works. And do remember the chronology of his works. His famous works are like Survival, Surfacial, The Mystic Measure, and also Half a Life. And please do remember the subtitle if any of his work carries. Okay, now for example, for the middle passage, of which the subtitle is Caribbean Revisited, please do mug up all these things. Now the Canadian literature. Yes, the Canada was also once colonized by the colonizers, and the writings by their hands are known as the Canadian literature. Now the major writers of this literature are Margaret Atwood, Robinson Mystery, Margaret Lawrence, and there are many more, but these are all evergreen. I'm again telling. Now Margaret Atwood, you must have heard this name, right? And she once quoted that I am not a science fiction writer, and the irony is she actually is a science fiction writer. Her notable works are like The Edible Woman, and also The Handmaid's Tale, and Alias Grace. These are all famous works that you should remember, and also do remember the important places, okay, where the incidents was happening in her works. These are really very important, and do mug up all the things, all the important facts and figures of her works. Now the evergreen Australian writers are like Eddie Hope, then we have Patrick White and Judith Wright. These are all famous writers that you need to cover before you just complete your post-colonial literature. And like Eddie Hope's works, and the famous work Boss, that is written by Patrick White, that is also important. Many a time NTA has asked one question regarding this Boss, and the theme is the landscape. Okay, so please do remember all the tips and bits of all these writers works, and these are really important from net point of view. And yes, so this is all my video, and I'll be again coming with another exciting video where I will tell you how you can cover like a revision with all the topics again. So yeah, I want your leave here. Bye bye and